What is up, Kryptonians? I hope you guys are having a great start to your new year. Today, we are talking about our first movie of 2023. This is a movie called M3GAN that is directed by Gerard Johnstone, I think that's his name. In all actuality, the movie's called M3GAN. Like, clearly look at it, it looks like it's M3GAN. Come on, we went through this shit with Fan 4 Stick a few years ago. You guys remember that shit? You guys remember Fantastic Four? And they decided to Fan 4 Stick that thing? Yeah, well, this is M3GAN. It's the same thing. Granted, Fan 4 Stick was a pile of dog shit, and this movie is decidedly not. So maybe I'll show it more respect in terms of its title. Regardless, this movie stars Alison Williams, and it's a story about a little girl who, due to some tragedy, loses her parents. Her aunt adopts her, and her aunt works at this robotics company, and her aunt decides to build her a robot. So what M3GAN is a lifelike android doll that is supposed to be a best friend to a kid and is supposed to make the parents' life easier. Because M3GAN is an android that has artificial intelligence and she learns things, you can kind of see where that's gonna go, because all movies that have artificial intelligence in them, that just never works out. I know that January still has like this weird perception around it, like, oh, only bad movies get released in January. That's not true. It's just that most of the interesting stuff is released after January. If you look at our track record the last few years, there have been some solid movies that have been released in January. January is not some breeding ground for shit movies anymore. Granted, I do remember the Legend of Hercules days, so I do feel you on that, but we've come a long way since then. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I saw the trailer for M3GAN and I thought it looked cool, and now that I've seen the movie, I could say it not only looks cool, it actually is cool. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I had a lot of fun with this movie because this movie knows what it is. This movie is very self-aware and it's very tongue-in-cheek, and it's the type of movie that makes fun of itself constantly. Like, within the first 5 minutes of the movie, you can tell what kind of movie you're about to get, and they know what kind of movie they're about to give you. And I like that kind of self-referential synergy that exists between the movie and the audience. Like, we both know why we're here, let's not waste any time. I say all that to say that the movie has a healthy sense of humor, and the movie, in terms of direction, it has a lot of funny shit in it, but it also has a lot of creepy shit in it too. When it comes to dialing up the creep factor for this doll, you feel it in every scene that M3GAN, I'm gonna call her M3GAN for the rest of the review. You can feel that creep factor in every scene that M3GAN is in. Like, the second that M3GAN shows up, you're just kind of like, strangle that thing immediately. It's with every subtle twitch of the eyes and every little look that M3GAN has, every little way that she moves throughout a scene. Like, it's so creepy, and the movie knows it's creepy, and it decides to play on that to entertain you, the audience. From moment to moment, you have no idea if you're gonna get scared to the point that maybe you might pee yourself a little bit, or if you're gonna be laughing so hard that you might lose a rib. I mean, the movie has moments that satisfy both parts of your brain. Crawford, I think, is the little girl's name. Violet Crawford. I could be having her name wrong. I thought she did a really good job. M3GAN being there as like the devil whose shoulder that you can cry on. I thought that was a really fun relationship. Alison Williams plays her aunt in the movie. She's kind of like the main character of the movie. I'll be honest, this is not her fault. I want to preface what I'm about to say by saying it's not her fault. But every time I see Alison Williams in a movie, I immediately don't trust her. Like, I immediately question her motives, her intentions. Halfway through this movie, I was giving her dirty eyes. This is the PTSD that Get Out has given me. Like, ever since Get Out, I just look at this bitch and I'm just like, she's gonna fucking do something. I know she's gonna do something. I thought she did a pretty good job in terms of performance. I think this movie is gonna satisfy horror fans who are looking for some thrills. And there is a little bit of meta commentary that exists in this movie about parenting and about kids and about technology. Parents need to parent, and parents need to be there for their kids and not just leave their kids with their noses stuffed in iPads and stuff all day. And I thought that was a pretty cool message to send. I do think that while the movie succeeds at both horror and comedy, sometimes those two things clash a little bit too often in this movie. Sometimes when scary, real shit is happening, it doesn't feel like this is the appropriate time to try to get people to laugh. It was just butting heads throughout the entire movie. Again, when it worked, but sometimes it just did not work. Being that it is a movie about artificial intelligence and it's a scary movie about a doll, they do play up a lot of the cliches and the story tropes that you've seen associated with some of those genres before. There are some predictable moments, and when I say predictable, I don't just mean like, oh, it's easy to see. It's predictable in terms of, okay, there's some really stupid shit that starts to happen in this movie. Just because you know it's stupid and the movie seems to know it's stupid doesn't mean that you can't still point it out in the review and be like, yeah, there was some stupid shit that happened. I think my biggest issue with the movie is not actually an issue with the movie itself. It's just, it feels like this movie should have been rated R. Like, it works as PG-13 for sure, but it kind of feels watered down in some areas. You wish they had gone a little bit further with some of the gore, some of the violence. As it stands, because of the clash of the tones and because the movie feels a little bit neutered because it's PG-13, the movie is not as suspenseful or as intense as you might want it to be. But if you're looking for like a PG-13 girl version of Child's Play, I think there are worse movies out there, and I think you could definitely enjoy this one. M3GAN was actually a pretty solid time at the movies in January. I'm gonna leave this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. Those are my thoughts on M3GAN or M3GAN, so tell me, are you excited to see M3GAN? Tell me what movies you're looking forward to over the first couple of months of 2023. Stay tuned for more videos. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.